This is Lady Empress, and we're getting ready to check these eggs. I hope you're following along because it takes 21 days. Thanks for tuning in to our channel. Let's go.
Welcome to Line Display House. Use. You can see it.
It's moving. Honey,
Oh my goodness.
you see it?
Uh-huh.
Oh, shit.
Hey, he almost full.
So this was the first fertilized egg of the set that we're incubating
This way.
currently that we began on May 9th.
I thought you told me which one you're doing next.
This next egg, to me, appears to be either early or unfertile. It's not late because I don't see a large air sac at the top, but you see how that yolk is just sliding up. So I really believe that this was an unfertilized egg, and we're gonna have to remove it because it's not gonna do anything else. It's a little hard to tell for early because on a white egg, the entire egg will appear yellow. These are brown eggs, so it's a little hard to see that. This next egg, I believe, is also an unfertile egg because you can clearly see the yolk in the middle, but you don't see any movement, and the rest of the egg kind of looks like the same color. Like the air sac may be at the other end, so I'm gonna flip it over. But you see how you really can't tell? So this could either be an early or an unfertile. Either way, but I do see veins there. So I think I'm going to leave it until the next test check to see if I see any movement on that egg before I remove it from the batch.
I don't know about this one.
Just look clear all the way through.
No, there's something in the center.
Okay.
Oh,
You see it moving?
I can see it in the center.
Okay.
But it's not moving like how that other one was.
Okay. So, what day is this?
This is day 6. Uh-oh, I think I got that the wrong way. Oh, I can't tell with this one.
I think it's supposed to go like that.
We need to put a mark on this one.
Why?
Because that's the first one. That's the one that was moving around.
As you can see, this egg, I believe it is a late because the bottom half that is sitting on top of the flashlight.
This is a baby egg, a smaller one. Let me get one
large
that you can really see.
on it. Now, as I'm going through, as you can see, I'm turning certain ones I was turning so that
I'll
we
go
will
back
be
and
able
do
to
the ones
mark
that
them.
we really
Now,
saw moving.
here's
Oh yeah, this one's a mover too.
fertilized
Oh,
egg. As you
I
can
see
it
it.
moving, the heartbeat. You can see
Oh, wow.
the vessels
Wow, you're
on
doing
there as
it.
well. This one may be another considered early, but again, I'm gonna leave it in the
You see it
incubator
moving?
until the
Yes.
next test to see if I see any vessels or any embryo form before I remove it from the batch.
What's that, number 5, honey?
I think so.
We actually love that you're here with us, learning with us as we go. This is our second time incubating eggs. The first set didn't go too well, and I may put some footage of that up to of the first set that we did. Now here's another egg that is fertilized, and you can see it moving also.
No, but I can see the veins.
Okay.
Oh yes.
Moving.
Yes, this one's moving too. Yeah, you can see the veins all over it. Okay. Oh, turn it. Sorry. This one's moving too. Yep.
That's 3. That is 6.
Yes, this one's moving.
This is a review of possible infertile or early or just plain old late, where you will be able to see the air cell at the top.
Looks like it could be something in there in this one. I'm not sure. Follow. I was coming upstairs. You just have to be patient. I'm trying to deal with these eggs.
As I stated, we're happy that you came along and watched this video to learn with us with hatching and incubating eggs. What you see me doing is using a red Sharpie to indicate the ones that we saw some movement or veins in. On the next check, we'll be eliminating more items from the batch.
Now, you have just finished watching us check these eggs, and you saw the things that we did in the process. We have a flashlight that came with this egg incubator, this flashlight here, and we use that to candle them. This little water mister came with it. This bottle, the styrofoam, the stand, all of this came in the kit for this incubator, which incubates 12 eggs at a time. So of course, if you want to do 24 eggs at one time, just get 2 of them. Do they have incubators that can hold 24? Yes, they have incubators that hold up to thousands of eggs to hatch at one time. But if you're a homestead and you're doing it small, or you have a small farm, or it's just your family chickens and you want to replenish the chickens that you have, this would be a really good incubator system to be able to do that with. And the reason I say is because, so the first time we did eggs was we were trying to get chicks for Easter, and we started them where the 21 days fell after Easter. But anywho, our chicks was coming out of that dormancy era, so, and we kept having up and down temperatures. So like we would get eggs that they laid like in February, and that's what we did the first set with, eggs that was laid in February, because in February we had a few warm days, right? But by the time we got to mid March or what have you, we had some cool days, and some of the chicks had stopped laying, and we had some trauma in the chicken coop. We had one of our chicks, my daughter's dog, got to it, and she didn't end up surviving. So, and that's trauma to a chicken coop because now they've lost, like a family member. But I said that to say, so this batch was dated. You can see the dates in the video. We took eggs that were 14 days prior to the day we started these, okay? And I have a little calendar book where we keep track, as we did with the first set of eggs that we started, and none of those did well, and I think it's because they were too old. When did we start those? The last 12 that we did, we started them on day 1, and that was our first time, and we used eggs that was older. The dates was from the time frame of February 19th to February 25th. So those dates were a little too old, because here we are in April working with eggs that was from February. According to the instruction manual of this incubator, it says to utilize eggs that were fertilized within 4 to 7 days. So we were way off. So this time I wanted to utilize some older eggs that we had. And as I think about it, your system develops as you stay consistent with doing things. So with this batch, I realized, let's try 14 days back, right? Let's see what happens. And when we checked today, you saw we have movement from I think 9 of them we had movement, and I placed the red dot on them. So along the way, I'm developing a process that will be like coherent. And when I say that, I mean, like, so out of these eggs that were started 14 days prior from the date that we began, and we began these eggs on May 9th. So yesterday and the day before, yesterday was my husband's birthday, so we were out celebrating, but that was day 6, and the 14th was day 5. The 14th was a busy day too, because we had lots of appointments. I left work early, came home, but we still had some other places to go, and by the time we get home, I was just beat tired, and I didn't feel like dealing with the eggs, so I didn't. But we did our 5th and 6th day check on the 7th day, okay? So they have been incubating for 7 days, and you were able to see just how much movement we had out of the 12 eggs. So I say that to say, if I get 9 chicks out of 12, I wouldn't consider that a bad deal, because we were able to utilize eggs that were from longer than 4 to 7 days, first of all. And if those chicks survive and do well, now I have proven that with this incubator system that you can use eggs that are at least 14 days prior to the date that you've started them. That would be one thing that I would have been proven. The other benefit, I think, would be the fact that, because when you have eggs, those of you out here who do have eggs, you understand that depending on how many chicks you have, where you end up with more eggs than what you could go through. So at that time, you're able to still utilize these eggs to do something good with them without them, going bad. Now, don't get me wrong, because you can keep an egg uncleaned sitting out on the counter for up to 6 months before they say that, they go bad. Now, have we eaten eggs that were older than 6 months? Yeah, but when you crack them, you just make sure you check them out good, and as long as they're good to go, you can go ahead and eat those eggs. And I know in other countries they You know, I've heard talk across different social platforms where they say, you know, in certain countries, they, when their grocery store doesn't even keep eggs in the refrigerator, like they're on the shelf, outside on the shelf. So, but here in the US, our eggs are kept in the refrigerator, and I think that's because they clean them, you know. So because once you clean them, and we learned this when we went through the candling certification through our county, once you clean the eggs, they have to be refrigerated, and they recommend them being sold or used, I believe, within 45 days. 45 days from the date that you clean them. So when you're doing things with the eggs, there's many reasons that you would want like a journal to keep, you know, a calendar book so you can stay up on certain dates to know when what expires. You have to be able to mark, you know, whatever boxes that you have with the expiration date so that you know, because you can't sell an egg that has been washed and refrigerated that is older than 45 days. You can't sell one. Now, that's not saying that you can't give them away. You can give them away. You can even, you know, as your farm, you could probably have a disclaimer that people sign that, you know, hey, these are 45-day or greater old eggs, you know, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the eggs are bad because they're past 45 days. That is the standard for being able to sell an egg that has been washed. So we have to understand lingo that is used when we're, you know, across these different social platforms and trying to understand processes of different things. And this is one to really, you know, pay attention to, especially if you plan on, you know, selling your eggs to people in the community or your family or what have you. Now, the benefit to the 14 days, like I was saying, if I get eggs from, if I get chicks that do well, that came from a batch that was 14 days old, now you know that you can utilize eggs 14 days out to raise baby chicks, or to possibly provide your community with baby chickens that you have incubated and raised up yourself. You know, of course, you're going to raise them to a certain age before you give them away to or, you know, to community or friends or family. You know, you want to think about when you go into places like Tractor Supply, that tends to have baby chicks that you can buy. You want to pay attention to what those chicks look like. Like, what age do you think those chicks are that are there at Tractor Supply for sale at, you know, anywhere from between $3.50 on up to, you know, over $11. You want to pay attention to the size, what they look like, what type of chicks they are, you know, depending on what type of chicks you have that you are incubating. Like we have Brahmas, we have Roll-Eyed and Reds, we have Wyandotte Rocks, we have some Leghorns. Our Americanas have passed on. We did that. Americanas was actually our first set of chicks that we had. But enough about that, because that can be a whole nother video talking about the different chickens that we've had. Now, I do want to say with this incubator, let's go back to the journaling and making sure that you have a calendar book to write down your details in. So today is the 16th. So I want to make sure that I put in our calendar that we check these eggs on this day, which would be day 7. for activity and movement. Now, a neat thing about this incubator, it comes with the instructions, and it kind of tells you under the incubation tips, is it tips? Yeah, under the tips, like what you're looking for. So for your day 5 and 6 from when you start them, you want to make sure you're checking for things like the fertilized eggs, if they're fertilized or not. You were able to see that when you see that little dot, and you can see the spider web of veins across the top. And then you want to select out the unfertilized ones. And out of the 3 that was right here, these 1, 2, 3 that y'all saw, that I said, well, these, they kind of all looked alike, but there was one that was really, really dark, and you could see like a separation ring hue around it. I think that one might be a stillborn, but I'm gonna leave it in there and let it go for a little while to see what we come up with, okay? But as we go, I know that if I'm not seeing movement like the other that I may see in the other 9, then I know that egg is a dud, okay? Also, what you're going to be looking for is loose yolk eggs. I don't really understand exactly what that means. I like if you move the egg and you can see maybe blood or yolk floating through there, and not necessarily an embryo, because an embryo will always kind of look like that. As you saw on the video. And so if you saw something loose like that, you would want to get rid of that type of egg too. And then dead sperm eggs is what these 3 could be. One of the 3 things that you would want to get rid of, that they said that you would look for day 5 and 6. And I meant to say yesterday was not only my husband's birthday, but my grandbaby, he graduated yesterday from pre-K, so he'll be going to kindergarten. So we've had a full end of the week. It's been really full, and today we had some beautiful family time that we went out and was able to spend time with each other. And we went and got pedicures, me and Mr. Hicks and our youngest daughter, and we just had some fun just being together, okay? But that's gonna conclude for today. I want to make sure your takeaways are that if you're deciding to incubate eggs, you need to make sure, first of all, that you have a rooster that can fertilize the eggs, because if you just have hens, you can't get fertilized eggs. You need a rooster to have fertilized eggs. Then you need an incubator, okay? We're going to talk about some things you need just to incubate. And you need water available to, So, and when you think about an incubator, we'll talk about that in another video too, because incubators can come in different forms. Like we've seen a guy across YouTube that incubated an egg right on his body by strapping the egg to his body. So we'll talk, that's a whole nother video. But you want to make sure you have an incubator, even if you make it yourself, because there's people on YouTube that has done that too. You're going to need a calendar, a pen, and your manual so that you can go through and predate the dates that you are to check your eggs and what you are looking for. So this was egg check day 5 and 6, and we looked for fertilized eggs, selecting out unfertilized eggs, loose yolk eggs, and dead sperm eggs. Those were the 4 things that we checked today, and we believe we could have 3 of those here. We don't know, but we're going to hang on to them, and as we check, we want y'all to come back and check with us, okay? The next day for checking will be day 11 and 12. So day 11 and 12 falls on May 20th and 21st. So May 20th and 21st, you can be expecting a video shortly after that. I don't know if we're going to do it live or not. Maybe if we get some comments asking us, could we do it live? Maybe we will. I don't know. Let's see. However, thanks for joining us. Make sure you hit the like button if this information was good for you. If you've learned something, take the time to leave us a message in the comment section letting us know what you learned, because that lets us know how we're doing with the videos. And leave a message whether or not you like it or not. Hit the like button, hit the bell so that you make sure you're notified when we post again, and make sure you leave a comment and share it with someone else that you may know that have chicks or may have been thinking about hatching their own chicks and want a better understanding of how they can do the process or procedure. Share it with them. I'd like to thank y'all again. Happy incubating of eggs. Look, y'all, I got thrown off because my husband was saying something to me and I have no idea what he's saying. But thank you all again. Have a great evening. This is Lady Empress. Bye.